What's good, YouTube? The Star Grails are here and they're looking mighty fine. And every single time I'm gonna go in on a picture, I'm gonna have to switch layouts to show you like this. The first thing that you might notice is the awkwardness of where all the arrows are pointing for these monsters. Only the old one revealed, the Star Grail Swordsman, has downward arrows, and the rest are going to be side or upwards, as you see, upwards, side to side, no down, and just straight up. Oh man, so this is a little bit, you know, deterring at first sight, but I think it's pretty good. So let's go ahead and talk about the potential of these cards. First, we're starting with our new friend here, Star Grail Dragon Imduk, or Imduk, I'm not sure. But Wind Dragon, Link Effect, Link 1, 800, but he's a transition card. You're just going to be using him, I think, to get to your other links, because his effect helps enable that. So you need a non-token normal monster, exactly one. That's the only way to summon him, and you do have vanillas in this deck that help support the archetype. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Star Grail monster in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. So he's got this built-in brilliant fusion for the archetype, so to say. So pretty good, and he's a link, so you can use him as build up to the next link. Effect 2, so we've got 3 effects like many good cards do. At the beginning of the damage step, when this card battles an opponent's monster that is in this card's link zone, so it has to be directly across from it. So people will probably just start learning to play, you know, not right in front of their opponent's link zones. You can destroy that opponent's monster. Pretty good, a bit of a catastrophe effect, but for anything at the beginning of damage step. And the third effect is if this card is sent from the field to the card graveyard, you can special summon one Star Grail monster from your hand. That is pretty good. So sent from the field to the graveyard, period. So for a link summon, for anything, and it's a you can, so it's optional as well. Now let's go ahead and get into Star Grail Shrine Maiden Eve, a water spellcaster link effect. So you notice the first one was a wind, this is a water. Link 2, and it looks like 1800 attack here. Let's get a better look at her real quick. Yes, 1800 attack, Link 2, new waifu confirmed, as we're getting into this article slowly. So, our buddy here takes 2 monsters with different types of attributes from each other, exactly 2. It doesn't have a restriction on tokens there. Nice. First effect, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. So if there's a link on it, it's a cure and it's not bouncing during the turn, but it's can't be destroyed by battle or card effects or targeted by opponent's card effects. Alright, she's got my attention. And like any good card, has 3 effects. If a monster or monsters in this card's link zone would be destroyed by a card effect, you can send this card to the graveyard instead. Self-sacrificial, pretty nice of her. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon a Star Grail monster from your hand. Sensing a theme there. Seems like a pretty good theme in order. So they're all bringing out other monsters to protect the field. They're not easy to OTK through, it sounds like. So let's go into our next buddy here. We've got Seihai Senshi Ningirsu, and that is Star Grail Warrior Ningirsu. No, it's not Usu, it's Su. Ningirsu. There we go. I think I got it. Link 3, 2500, up side to side, and our previous girl here was side to side, so those awkward links as we talked about before with the archetype for the new announcements. So basically these are meant to be down in your main monster zone to enable more zones to happen. So he is a Link Monsters, minimum 2, so you're supposed to use Link Monsters as the material for this man's. So you are supposed to basically Link Summon, and then Link Summon him. You can only use this card's name's one effect once per turn. So this first effect can only be once per turn. If this card is Link Summon, draw 1 card for each Star Grail monster in this card's Link zones. But considering you just performed a Link Summon, how likely is that there's anything besides the upwards? I don't know. He's kind of your enabler card. So it's almost like saying he's going to draw 1 card usually. The second effect, once per turn, you can activate this effect. Send one card from each side of the field to the graveyard. That word send is very powerful. It's not destroy, so I'm liking it. And the third effect is probably the same. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon one Star Grail monster from your hand. So that third effect just happens to go with all of them, but that means when you are link summoning with using them, they help flood the field for more link summons and help you get to where you need to be going. That is pretty darn cool. And let's get that bigger look at our mans here too. He's looking pretty cool, So this is a pretty cool archetype in terms of look. Captain Planet Field, the Earth, Water, Wind here, all the different types going on. Got the Fire as well, previously announced. We'll go back over him in a second. We also have a new, I guess, we have Star Grails Chosen, Star Grails Beckoned, which are our two new vanillas here, I believe. They're looking pretty nice. Everything does look really cool about this archetype. There's our little one wind there, who is not a link. And then we also have a spell and a trap. So let's go ahead and get into these guys as well. I really like discovering cards like at first reaction and thinking about them. So we've got Star Grails Protector Dragon. Oh, he's the cutest little dragon. He's a Wind Dragon effect, level 1. 400. You can only use this card's name's 2 effects once per turn. Or the second effect. So the first effect, during either player's turn, when a card or effect that targets a linked monster on the field is activated, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard and negate the activation if you do destroy it. That's pretty good. It's only to targets, but that's still kind of cool because it's a hand trap. And it's a Star Grail. So Star Grails Protector Dragon. You can banish this card from your graveyard, so addition to the hand trap effect. I have not read this card, by the way. Then target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense position to a linked link monster's linked zone on your field. That's pretty cool. That's so he's not only a hand trap, but he helps get you something else on the field that can both turbo you out another monster to help continue links. That is pretty cool. And then we have these two new cards. We have Star Relics Aegis. So Star Relics is another kind of card that are going to go with the Star Grails. Let's see here. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target question amount of Star Grail monsters with different names in your graveyard. Add them to your hand. So I have to assume it's a certain set number. I'm not sure what that clarifies. Second effect, if a linked monster you control would be destroyed... Oh, a link monster, not linked. If a linked link monster... Okay, so a linked link monster you control would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it has a lot of these have graveyard effects. I'm liking that kind of synergy. I just feel like it's missing an oomph, but I could be wrong. It does seem like a really cool strategy that helps keep the field going, but it feels like it has to commit so much to the field. And then we have Star Relics Guidance. Trap normal, first effect, banish question Star Relic monsters. So Star Relic, not... Okay. Not Star Grail, Star Relic monsters. So I guess that's going to be the continuation of the archetype. Banish question amount of Star Relic monsters face up from your field or from your hand, then target question something monsters in your graveyard. Special summon it / them, but they cannot attack this turn. So it looks like these two aren't fully translated yet, but it looks like the Star Relics are going to interact heavily with the Star Grails as, let me get you guys a proper window capture for our buddy, the Swordsman over here. Star Grail Swordsman Auram. Get you a better look at him. So he is looking real nice as he actually has downward enablers for your main monster zone. He is only a Link 2 and takes 2 Star Grail monsters and gains 300 attack for each Star Relic monster with different names in your graveyard. So that's what doesn't exist for us yet. So I'm a continued support that will probably interact with the Star Grails, as a lot of people were saying, oh, there's not going to be more Star Grail support. Well, Star Relics will probably go straight along with the archetype. You can tribute one Star Grail monster linked to this card, then target one monster in your graveyard, except the tributed monster, and special summon it to your field linked to this card. You can only use this effect of Star Grail Swordsman Auram once per turn. So you can target any monster in your graveyard. You can tribute a Star Grail monster linked to this card and target one monster in your graveyard. That's pretty cool. And once per turn also. Okay, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon a Star Grail monster. Did I miss anything there? Special summon to your field linked to this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. So yeah, looks like he only has those two effects. You can tribute, target, and graveyard. That's still really good. A monster reborn for anything from your graveyard. That is pretty awesome. And he has a whopping 2,000 attack for his, I guess he's usually going to be in your extra monster zone to enable your own zones moving forward. So I really think this deck is coming together nicely. I don't think it's anything like too powerful compared to what we've heard from other decks. And I think it's a really, really cool new look at a deck that doesn't function just by having all the downward arrows. It shows how you can play with your opponent's like main monster zone. But again, I feel like people are just going to avoid the zone across from those zones and learn to play against this guy if he ever became relevant. And so his other effects don't seem that relevant, but he also is just a turbo card for his main effect that you're going to be using most of the time in order to help you normal summon additional monsters and go into extra link monsters, in my opinion. So what do you guys think of the Star Grails? I think they're pretty good. And what do you think about the future possibility of Star Relics? I think Star Relics will take it to the next level, obviously, or we should hope. But I think right now, they're sitting at a point where they have a lot of interesting potential interactions, but I feel like they limit themselves a lot in what they can do. They only have two downward sloping main monster zone enablers. But at the same time, what types are these again? I think we got an Earth there, so maybe some slight potential for Mrs. Radiant, but not really. You could Rescue Rabbit into Mrs. Radiant in the deck, I suppose. Or Rescue Rabbit into these and have more Star Grails on field. I think Rescue Rabbit will be a big part of the deck to come to be. But what do you guys think, potential-wise, for this deck? I'm digging it and a lot of like interaction senses. But I'm not quite sold that I would want to play it yet. I gotta see it in action some more. So thank you, Yu-Gi-Oh! Org, for posting this up. Apparently there was a video showcasing of the new archetypes somewhere from Code of the Duelist, and they only take place once every 3,000 years. So this is really, really cool that we got so much of the support for them. I wish these were translated a little better, and I'm sure they will be upcoming, so post in the comment section down below when we know exactly what they do. But I think I really like the concept of the interactions. I'm excited for Link monsters and their interactions. So that excites me more than the deck itself. I really like how they look too. I'm just not sold quite yet. I need some Star Relics, boys. We need some Star Relics to go with our Star Grails so I can get sold.